Heading into week 5 of the fantasy football season, here's a few running backs I would look to add on the wire this week. The first guy is Kenneth Gainwell of the Philadelphia Eagles. So far, the first month of the season here, Kenneth Gainwell, in my opinion, he's pretty much been the same or better than Miles Sanders this season, with less carries, less touches, and he's just a playmaker. And this Philadelphia Eagle team, they've been trailing a lot this season in a lot of ball games, and we know Miles Sanders isn't a good passing downs back. So Gainwell the last couple weeks here, week 3 at Dallas, only 1 attempt for 2 rushing yards, 3 catches, 32 yards. But versus the Kansas City Chiefs, he broke out with a big game, 3 carries, 31 yards, and a rushing touchdown, including 1 at the goal line. And he had a 6 catches, 58 receiving yard day here. So week 5 at Carolina, it could be more of the same for this Eagle team, where they're going to be trailing, and Kenneth Gainwell is going to be in the ball game a lot according to the game script. If they're going to be down, obviously, 7 to 14 points for this ball game. So Gainwell right now, he's available in 71% of fantasy leagues. And right now, in my opinion, he's just outdoing Miles Sanders. And he's definitely worth an add in more leagues. And he's definitely a running back that can help your fantasy team. The next running back is J.D. McKissic of the Washington football team. So McKissic, he's like an every other week production guy for fantasy owners, and right now he's available in 61% of fantasy leagues. Week 2, he had the big ball game, 10 rushing yards, a touchdown, 5 catches, 83 yards. Week 3 at Buffalo, he didn't do anything, only 5 touches. And then week 4 at Atlanta, 7 carries, 15 yards, and 5 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. So week 5 versus the Saints, I could see a similar type of ball game here for J.D. McKissic. Taylor Heineke, he likes him out of the backfield. He makes plays as McKissic. I know Gibson is a good running back as well, but J.D. McKissic, he fits a lot of the game script that Washington should be in this season here. Trailing in games or just a high-powered, high-scoring game from both teams where they're going up and down the field. But J.D. McKissic, he's a good third down and passing down back, and he was a good weapon last season for Washington. And so far this season, he's been pretty decent. Good 2 out of the first 4 games here. For week 5, he's got a pretty good matchup versus New Orleans, where I think we could see similar things for him. The next running back's Damian Williams of the Chicago Bears. So David Montgomery, he went out of this ball game in the 3rd quarter with a bad knee injury. He did walk off, but he was getting helped off and carried by trainers and coaches in this game. So Damian Williams, he came in a mop-up role in that ball game in week 4 versus Detroit. 8 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown, and added 2 catches for 15 yards. So we know Damian Williams, he's a guy that definitely could carry the load as a 3-down back. If David Montgomery is going to be out for a long time, but we got to wait and see the diagnosis. We got to see what happens. And if Montgomery's going to be out for several weeks, Damian Williams will be the hottest pickup on the waiver wire this week. And he's a versatile back that could run between the tackles, like I mentioned. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. And we saw what he even did in the Super Bowl a few seasons ago. So Williams right now, he's available in a whopping 93% of fantasy leagues. But if Montgomery's going to be out a few weeks, this is a guy I definitely would run out there and make my number 1 priority this week. The next running back's Darryl Williams of the Kansas City Chiefs. I spoke about Darryl Williams a few times in the last few weeks here, but last week I mentioned him a lot as a guy that I see creeping for touches over there in Kansas City. I know Edwards-Helaire found the end zone and had a pretty decent day once again in week 4 Philly, but Darryl Williams, he got 10 carries, 42 yards, and a goal line touchdown, and 2 catches for 16 yards. So right here, each week he's getting more touches, he's getting more snaps in the offense, and he's available in 91% of fantasy leagues. And if Helaire does go down with an injury or struggles, this guy could be one of the bigger pickups as the season goes on. But right now, if you got a dead bench spot, he's definitely worth an add, in my opinion, is Darryl Williams, because he's in a high-packed offense, and Andy Reid and this coaching staff likes him. And the 5th and final running back I looked at on waivers this week's Alex Collins of the Seattle Seahawks. And yes, it's the same Alex Collins from the Baltimore Ravens and from the Seahawks many seasons ago. So Collins, in week 4, he had a pretty good role in this ball game. I know it might have been only 1 game, but it's something to mention here. 10 carries, 44 yards, a touchdown, and 2 catches for 34 yards. So right here, Chris Carson, I don't know if he's dealing with an injury or they just wanted to give him a light workload in this ball game versus San Francisco. But Alex Collins, he's another guy like Darryl Williams. Each and every week, his snap count is going up in my opinion, and we know Rashard Penny is going to be out a couple weeks once again with injury. So right here, Seattle got the win in week 4. Collins looked like the better running back than Chris Carson, who only had 4 fantasy points, I believe, on the day. So right here, he's available in 99% of leagues. I know it might have been a 1-week thing where he just got all these touches, but it's something to keep an eye on, especially with not great options on the wire running back this week. So that's a few running backs I've looked at on the waiver wire in week 5 of the fantasy football season.